Hey guys, this is James from Swim Bike Run Chesterfield, and today I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about your rear derailleur and how to adjust it. If you want to zoom in close here, I'll show you the couple features that we're going to need to know and learn about. So we have a couple adjustment options on a rear derailleur. We have the B tension screw, which is always located at the part that you'd screw into your derailleur hanger. You have the high and low limit screws, and you have your cable adjustment knob. If you can at least learn these four things, you'll have a great start on adjusting your rear derailleur. So what do each of those things do? The first thing we'll look at is the B tension screw. This is an adjustment that very rarely you as a home mechanic would need to touch. More or less once this is set, it's pretty good to go. The B tension screw changes the angle at which the derailleur wraps around the cassette. Okay, so in a larger tooth cassette, like this goes up to a 34 tooth, that B tension screw will need to be screwed in more to allow the derailleur to wrap. So we'll see what that does when we put it into that largest cog. All right, so if you look at the junction here, this is the movement that the B tension screw adjusts. If this gets too close to the cassette, you may hear that noise. That's the noise of actually the cassette and the pulley contacting each other every time. If it's too far away, the derailleur can't adequately wrap the chain across each cog. So it should be roughly 5 to 3 millimeters away from the bottom of that cassette. And that allows it to wrap the chain around perfectly with no extra noise. If that screw was too loose or screwed out, which we'll do now, and if you look from the back here, it allows the derailleur right now is right underneath the cassette. If I unscrew that, you'll see how it can move further away toward the inside of the wheel. Okay, we don't want it to do that because if it goes too far, it'll actually shift that chain right off the end of that cassette and into your wheel. So keeping that lower limit screw exactly where it needs to be is really important. So what I do when I adjust the lower limit screw is I actually, with my hand, push the derailleur as far as it can go and make sure that no matter what, as far as it can go is right in line with the center of that last cog, okay? So next we're going to look at the H or high limit screw. So like the lower limit screw, a limit screw is going to limit the inside movement, so the high movement. So if you look from the back here, when the derailleur is fully toward the bottom, it should be straight underneath the first cog. In the same way of the lower limit screw, if I were to unscrew the high limit screw, it would cause the derailleur to go too far to the outside and can actually throw the chain off in between the dropout and that first cog. Okay, so again, the limit screws allow how far the derailleur can go at each end. Okay, so one thing that we always have questions about is, let's say if your derailleur isn't shifting right, you probably should never touch a limit screw. Again, a limit screw doesn't change how the derailleur shifts, it just changes the distance and the amount that the derailleur can shift on each end only. Not in the middle, just on each end. What causes the derailleur to shift in the middle is all about cable tension, right? So at our shifter, we have one end of the cable. That cable runs all the way through the frame, wraps around through the barrel adjuster, and attaches to the end of the derailleur, okay? So every time I click, it actually pulls in a little bit of cable. It should pull in the exact amount that's in between each gear, and that's how every time you shift, the derailleur moves into the right increment, okay? But sometimes we can have cable stretch or things come out of adjustment or tension. So that's what the cable barrel adjuster is for. As we rotate that barrel adjuster out, and I'll use this as an example here. As I rotate this outwards, we can see I see a whole lot more of that internal cap. So that is pulling the cable at higher tension. And if I were to spin it clockwise, you'll see that we lose that silver cap. It's going down into the derailleur, so we're causing more cable to show, okay? So what does that mean? That means if I'm in the middle of the cassette here, and for some reason it's not shifting up enough, we need to add tension to allow the derailleur to shift more. Vice versa, if I'm in the middle and it won't shift down, I need to loosen the cable tension to allow the derailleur to move easier that way. So I'll kind of show you here. So I'm right in the middle of the cassette. If you look at here from the back, you should see that this upper pulley is right below that center cog, okay? And we're hearing no extra noise. All we're hearing right now is just chain noise. So what's gonna happen then if I start turning this barrel adjuster, and I'm tightening the cable now, right? So as I tighten the cable, hear that noise? We're hearing the noise of it contacting the left extra cog, okay? And as I go back to center, we remove that noise. Vice versa, if I go clockwise, we're gonna start hearing that noise again. That's it contacting the other side. So cable tension really just centers the derailleur in between the gear and allows us to center each shift throughout the entire range. If your rear derailleur is having a hard time shifting up or down, it's probably not any of the limit screws. It's 100% gonna be your tension adjustment or your barrel adjuster. So you'll want to either tighten or loosen the cable there in order for it to go easier or harder into each of the gears. Thanks for watching our tutorial on adjusting your rear derailleur. Hopefully you shouldn't have to do this too many times a year. Hopefully you're bringing it in for a tune-up probably once in the spring and once in the fall. This tutorial should get you through all of those small things in between. Check our links below for my t-shirt for STL Biking and to sign up for your own tune-up.